My name is Lindsay Knight, and I'm here to talk to you about fitness. Those of you who know me, that's probably pretty natural for me. But for those of that you don't, I have a long background in fitness. I owned the Gold's Gym in Anchorage for about 20 years, and now I'm the current owner of Kodiak Athletic Club here in Kodiak, and that's been about 15 years. I came here in 2005, and I've pretty much been a fitness guy all my life. I was a competitive bodybuilder for about 4 decades, and I've dabbled in powerlifting. And I've done a lot of coaching. I'm the commissioner of powerlifting for Special Olympics, and had some pretty good athletes on a world level, not to mention all our local kids have done really well. So in other words, this is kind of what I do, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys today about exercise and getting moving and working out. So that's what we're all about here today. A couple of things. So this is about what 5 pounds of muscle, fat looks like, and then this is a pound of muscle. So I kind of watched both of these things with my people, and I kind of want to direct this more to kind of older people. You know, here at this club, I probably say the median age here is 50 years old, and I'm actually 69, and I don't think I quite looked that, but that's because of what I've been doing all my life. So over the years, just the natural physiology of the human body makeup, you tend to lose 3 to 5% of these a decade. So every 10 years, you lose 3 to 5% of your total muscle. And I've literally done 10,000 body fat tests in my career. And what that really boils down to, it's about a pound a year. And that's just if you're doing everything normal. Now, a couple of things contribute to that. Inactivity contributes to losing muscle, and also not feeding muscle contributes to losing muscle. So you actually have to do all of these things. You have to exercise to keep your muscle, and you have to feed this muscle. So I'm always talking about nutrition almost more than exercise, because it's 70% of your results. So typically what happens in the gym is if anybody USA comes in here, I try to get a weight body fat in the beginning, and what I find is in about the first 30 days, and I would say this is in the 90th percentile, in the first 30 days, people are going to lose one of those, or 5 pounds of fat, but they're going to recover 3, 4, 5, 6 of these in that same time. So in the first 30 days, you may actually be a pound heavier on the scale. So to me, it's pretty important to know what that composition is. And you're never going to hear me say weight loss. It's really about fat loss and fat control, and that's what I try to teach people here, and what I'm trying to share with you guys today. So any kind of exercise is great, but I'm kind of a proponent of resistance weight training. So what that means is, like, this is a bicep contraction. So if I take this and go like that, I'm contracting this bicep. So that's the kind of exercise that your body needs. And there's a two-part to that. It not only helps strengthen and preserve your muscles, but muscles attach to bones. So what muscles do is they contract and they pull bones to other bones. So this contraction resistance does a couple of things. It helps you preserve, keep, strengthen, and tone your muscle, but it also is good for your bones. So I really actually like working with women almost better than men, and I think they have more to gain than men do. Men are usually a little bit bigger and stronger already, and but women are tougher. But women are also 5 times more apt to suffer from osteoporosis, bone calcium content loss as they get older. So weight training kind of keeps that in check. If somebody's a strength trainer, they're less apt to suffer from osteoporosis, and men can suffer from that as well. But we're interesting in everybody. But again, I think women have more advantage to being in a gym than the guys do even. So, and it's not really fair, because I kind of use this analogy. We'll say Mr. and Mrs. Smith go out and have a pizza and a banana split. Who does it show up on? Mrs. Smith. Why? Well, the guy is usually bigger, but even if they're the same size and weight, just the physiology of the human body makeup, a man has 10% more muscle. And this stuff burns 35 to 85 calories per pound per day. So we'll round it off to 50 for just easy math. So if he's got 10 more pounds of muscle, he needs 500 calories more per day just to maintain. So, which kind of means he can get away with more. But see, women are really smart, and they realize that if I go pump a little iron and pick up my muscle, I can get away with more too, and it's true. So there's nothing better for you than exercise. So I'm going to talk about muscle atrophy now. This stuff goes away if you don't feed it and if you don't use it. So a classic case of muscle atrophy would be having a broken arm and having your arm in a cast for 6 to 8 weeks. And a lot of people have experienced that, or you at least know somebody that's gone through this before. And what happens is when you take the cast off in 3 to 6 weeks, the muscle's a lot more shriveled up and a lot weaker. But see, muscle is memory. So when you get back to normal activity and normal routine, the muscle goes back to normal size and strength pretty quickly, really. So let's talk about typical American life. It isn't uncommon for people to sit at a desk all day and then in front of their widescreen surround system all night. And it's kind of like wearing a body cast. So if I can get people getting active and exercising, that's why they recover 5 of this in the first 30 days. It's not that you're getting all this wonderful new muscle. You're just getting back muscle that you should have had all along. So you got to exercise this stuff and you got to feed it or it's going to go away. So really encourage you to, and start light too. You know, one of the things that people do incorrectly when they start to, especially weight train, is they go at it too hard. You know, 7 out of 10 people fail at this. And I think the most common reason they fail is because they go from not doing anything to trying to do Arnold's pre-Olympia workout. Work for Arnold, it'll work for me. Well, I'm not saying that you couldn't get to that level, but you're not going to start out that way. So one of my philosophies is do the least amount to get results. And in the beginning, it's not very much. You don't have to do very much to feel a little sore the next day, and that's really all our goal is. It's pretty easy to work out so hard that you have to call in sick for work, and we're trying to keep you away from that point. In fact, when I work one-on-one with people, I try to make it a game, and I want you to know you worked out the next morning, but I just want you to mildly feel it, and if you get really sore, then I lose, and I don't really lose that game very often. Now, I've also had people come in and say, I have one girl that came in, and it was a little entertaining, but it was a hard lesson for her, but it was fun for me. But she kind of came up to me like this and glared at me, says, "No one has ever hurt my legs." Needless to say, she didn't walk for about 5 days. And it's funny, she just recently came back, and her first workout, she says, "First of all, I'm not going to say anything." so we're starting over again, and that was probably a good thing. But you start light. You know, I like to start with a small routine, get used to it, and then build on that. Now, also frequency. You know, some people go from 0 to try to work out every day. And if somebody comes in and says, "That's the only way I'm going to do it," well, fine, I can live with that. But realistically, if you do it like every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that's a good way to get started and get used to it. Do that for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks and make it a habit, and then build on that. It gets to the point where you need to do more, and then you're ready for it. So start small and then build on that, and then before you know it, well, if you want to get to that point, you can do the Arnold pre-Olympia workout, but most people don't really want to go that far, but maybe somewhere in between. So ease into it. It doesn't require Herculean effort, especially in the beginning. So like cardio is another type of exercise, and I encourage that for your heart health and for helping speed up your metabolism and make it go faster. So cardio, if you haven't done any cardio, you can get on a schedule where you're doing 6 days a week, 45 minutes a day, but you're probably not going to stick with that because, again, it's too hard. It's starting off too hard. So when I work with people, I try to get them to start with, say, 10 minutes of walking on the treadmill. And you don't really need a treadmill. You can walk outside. But, just do 10 minutes. But time it, keep track of it, and maybe do that 3 days a week. And if you look at it, you have 30 minutes total a week, your Monday through Sunday accumulative time. And that's not very much. If somebody that's really a cardio fan will say, well, you got to get your heart rate up, maintain for 20 minutes, and do a cool down. And yeah, that's true, but if I take just Joe average or Sally average, and she hasn't done anything, especially for years, if I can get her to do 10 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's more than she did last week, so I'm winning, and so is she. And but then you don't stay there. The next week I'm going to add 5 minutes, so it's 15, 15, 15. Or if you look at total accumulative time, it's 45 minutes all of a sudden. and she did more than she did last week. And you keep building this up, you know, and you can take it up to, I call this an aerobic progression, and you can take it up to 60 minutes a day. And even when I get to 60 minutes a day, I like to even break that up to maybe 40 in the morning and 20 in the afternoon. And then you actually, I think that's almost double, because you're getting your heart rate up twice a day, and and it has like a 24-hour after effect of kicking your metabolism up. So anyway, you're used to it. By the time you start with 10, 15, 20, by the time you get to 60, you're used to it, because you've only been going up in about 5-minute increments. And they don't even recommend that you stay there, because you'll get stuck. So then you drop it back down and start it over again. So it's kind of all like that. It's all about trickery. You got to keep throwing different things at your body to keep it changing, because it gets used to the same stuff. Like those of you that have worked out or lifted weights before, have you ever done a workout where you got really sore and it was really great, and then you go back the next week and do that same exact workout, and you probably got a little bit more weight and or more reps, but yet you didn't get quite so sore? Well, that's your body adjusting to it. So you always got to do things differently. My workout's always evolving. I never do the same things over and over again. You know, I try to throw curves at my body to keep it changing, keep it guessing. I don't want it to know that I'm going to do 10 reps with this weight and 15 reps with this weight and on, because mentally you start to lose it too. You're not with it anymore. You're just going through the motion. So you got to keep it interesting. In fact, I've been a really big fan of doing 100 rep sets lately. And, you know, when you do a contraction, a certain amount of muscle fibers fire, and as it gets harder, more and more fire. But you almost never get all the muscle fibers firing. But I can tell you what, if you do 100 reps, you get them all firing. And the only downside is that we found is that once you do that, it feels like if you don't do it, it feels like you didn't do the whole workout. And 100 reps does hurt. I don't care how you do it. So, and what do you need to work out? I have a whole series that are on YouTube of just home workouts where I'm just using protein cans and vacuum cleaners for resistance training. You can do body weight resistance training. You know, push-ups is a great one. We've been doing all this push-up challenge all over the island, actually all over the country. But what if you can't do a push-up? You can kind of lean against the wall and do a push-up. And as you get your feet further out, it's more difficult. As you're more upright, it's easier. But if you can move, you can exercise. I mean, I guess that's one of the points I try to get across too. So anybody can do this. There's no age limit. You know, people do this into their 90s and 100s. So it's just something for everybody. And I encourage you to do it. If you don't do it, if you quit moving, pretty soon you're not going to be able to move. I was working with one lady in her 60s, and we were doing a seated exercise. One was this exercise, and one was this exercise, and she was amazed she couldn't do it with her left arm. And no injury, nothing had happened to her. It's just that she did everything right-handed over the years and just hadn't used these muscles, and she just couldn't do it anymore. And we actually did get it back, but if you don't move, you won't be able to move after a while. If you don't exercise, you're going to lose this stuff. And if you don't have this stuff, well, there goes your mobility, your strength, and your ability to do anything that you want. You know, I think life's about being able to do what you want and having a good time. And I have one retired gentleman that's getting close to 80, and he hates weight training, absolutely hates it, but he likes to travel. So he knows that if he does this all year long, when he goes on his trips, he can do all the tourist things that he wants to do. So he comes in here anyway, and we try to make it fun for him. It should be fun. That's a key thing too. If you're miserable doing this, you won't stick with it. So one of the things we try to do at this club is we try to pick on everybody and harass you and make you laugh and make it as fun as possible. So if you're going to be miserable, you should be at least laughing and having fun doing it. So this goes along with getting started and starting easier. I would say, well, it's a national statistic that 7 out of 10 people don't stick with this. So in other words, if 100 people join any Gym USA in 6 weeks, 70 of them have already dropped out. Now, most gyms get you set up on automatic payments, and that's kind of what they like. But we don't here. We don't get paid if you don't come in. So I try to actually have a higher success ratio. I would say that we keep 7 out of 10. But the reason they drop out is because they go at it too hard. You know, if you haven't done anything, then you come in and work out really hard and then try to do it 6 days a week. Well, you're going to be miserable. And if you're miserable, you're not going to stick with it. So people make the mistake of coming in too hard, too often, working out too long, too heavy, they get too sore, and that's not too fun. And pretty soon they won't be doing it anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of them think, oh man, I must be too old for this, or I'm not tough enough for this. And that's not it at all. Anybody can do this. I don't care if you're a 99-year-old grandfather or grandmother. If you can move, you can do this. But the key is you got to start easy. You have to start easy and then build on it as you get in better shape. But do it at a pace that's comfortable. You should wake up in the morning and say, oh yeah, I work that. But but you shouldn't be able to not get up in the morning because you can't move. And I've literally had people call in sick before because they couldn't walk. No, I didn't do that to them. They did it to themselves. I want to clarify on that. So start easy, make it fun, and build on that as you get in better shape. So, and make it as fun as possible.